Of all the things Catholics believe, this one gets the most pushback. Non-Catholics call it unbiblical, some Catholics can't explain it, and almost everyone has a wrong idea of what it actually is. Purgatory, not a second chance, not a middle hell, not a place God sends people he's not sure about. Here's what it actually is, and why it changes everything about how you understand death, mercy, and the justice of God. Let's start with a question. Imagine you've lived a decent life. You believed, you tried, but you also lied, held grudges, acted selfishly, left things unrepaired. Nothing monstrous, just human, ordinary sin. Now you die. Are you ready to stand before a God of infinite holiness? Completely? Without anything left unfinished? The Catholic answer is honest, probably not. And purgatory is what happens next. The word comes from the Latin purgare, to cleanse, to purify. Purgatory is not punishment, it's preparation. Think of it as the final stage of a transformation that began at baptism and continued through your entire life. God doesn't discard the work he started in you, he completes it, even after death. The Catechism of the Catholic Church defines it as a purification. For those who die in God's grace but are still imperfectly purified, it's the mercy of God taken to its logical conclusion. Now, is it in the Bible? Critics say no, but look closer. In the second book of Maccabees, Judas Maccabeus prays and offers sacrifice for soldiers who died in sin, so that they might be freed from it. His reasoning, if there were no hope for the dead, prayer for them would be pointless. In Matthew 12, Jesus speaks of sins that will not be forgiven, neither in this age nor in the age to come. The implication, some things can be resolved after death. And Paul in 1 Corinthians describes a fire that will test the quality of every man's work. Some will be saved, but only as through fire. The early church read these passages together and drew a consistent conclusion. There is a process of purification beyond death. But here's what most people miss. Purgatory is only for people who are already saved. This is critical. You don't go to purgatory instead of heaven. You go through purgatory on the way to heaven. It's not a courtroom. The verdict is already in. These are souls who belong to God, who simply aren't ready yet for the full weight of his presence. Think of it like surgery before entering a sterile room. The healing is certain, but the process is real. And this is where it gets personal. The doctrine of purgatory is also the reason Catholics pray for the dead. If the souls there are real, if they are conscious, if they are being purified, then our prayers reach them. Our masses, our rosaries, our sacrifices, they matter beyond the grave. Death doesn't sever the bond between the living and the dead, it changes it. For 2,000 years, Catholics have prayed for their deceased parents, children, friends, not as a ritual, but as an act of love that still means something. Critics will say, this was invented to sell indulgences. That's the Reformation argument. And yes, the abuse of indulgences was real, and the Church acknowledged it. But the abuse of a doctrine doesn't disprove the doctrine. People have abused the idea of grace, of mercy, of salvation itself. That doesn't make those things false. The belief in purgatory predates the Middle Ages. It's in the writings of Tertullian, Origen, Augustine, John Chrysostom, all before the year 400. This is not a medieval invention, it's an ancient conviction. So what is purgatory? It is God refusing to waste a single soul that chose him. It is mercy that doesn't stop at the moment of death. It is the belief that holiness is not just declared, it is completed. And it is the reason that when a Catholic loses someone they love, they don't just grieve, they pray. Not a second hell, the last act of a merciful God.